ask him. But before that, I will, please have a seat. I will ask him a couple of questions, then we will move on to the audience. So, thank you for joining us today, and it was a wonderful film. I think you gave us a ray of hope that women will bring down the religio-patriarchal fascist order in this country. So my actually first question to you is a very simple question that you have been talking about. Today you said on the stage, and also I have read in some of your interviews, that it is something influenced by the political culture of your village. But what is that village, if you may share, and how is that changing according to you when you're doing research for your film? How you have seen the changes happening, or from your childhood to now, which compelled you to make this film?
Thank you so much for the question, and thanks to all of you once again for coming and watching the film. It's actually a village in Hooghly, around Amta, and I spent a considerable part of my childhood there. As a matter of fact, I feel very connected to the place, and I think it's made me in a way who I am, made me aware of my roots as a person, as a human being, and the people who I have seen around me when I was growing up. So when I went, I usually during Durga Pujas, I usually take a trip to my village, and I went there and I was just roaming around with my camera, taking pictures and talking to some of the people, seeing them after quite a while. This was around 2019, around 2019, and you know, there was already a heat around the elections which were supposed to happen in 2021, and I could feel something in the air. And I was talking to the women especially there, and they were hesitant to speak like the way they usually do, and there was some kind of restriction, unspoken restrictions that was there, I was observing. So I felt very uncomfortable, and the more I started talking to them, the more I learned that of course, there was a certain kind of, optimism in them that things will get better. But I know that many of them are in denial, and many of them have accepted the way of life as it is. And because they did not know what to speak up and raise their voice, and usually still now it's a very patriarchal society out there, So, and I asked them that why don't you say it out loud? I mean, why don't you just confront your better halves or to the other members of the village? And they were like, etai hoy, mane erokom etar keno ki ar kake bolbo ki bolbo. So that I was a little surprised, taken aback, and these are very strong women I'm talking about. So I felt that, of course, the heated political air combined with a lot of unsaid things within them, it was boiling up within them, and it was from there that I started. I came back, and of course I asked them that if I may roll my camera and if you can speak. I recorded them, and when I came back and started writing my experiences, I felt that I have some kind of story, and if they cannot say it in their own voice, I can be the representative. So it was from there the film started kind of boiling within me. And then of course when the script, I was writing the script, NRCCA thing unfolded in our country, and I said that I have to make this film now because this film is more relevant than ever. So I thought that this is my way of protesting, this is my way of speaking up. Not only on behalf of them, but what I feel about the society, that the culture where I was growing up. So that was that, actually.
Thank you for the answer. But because you mentioned it's near Hooghly, it's in Hooghly, right, your village? So I have a question about your choice of costume. Because, the way you have shown the Muslim woman without blouse, I am from Murshidabad myself, and as you know, it's a Muslim-dominated district. So women right now, I have not seen in my growing up years, or even now, Muslim women not wearing blouses. Maybe it was at once upon a time, but right now it's changing actually because of migration, where Muslim men and the families are going to West or Middle East. we see a certain kind of import of hijab, niqab, which was not there. গ্রাম বাংলার চরিত্র ছিল না এটা, গ্রাম বাংলার মুসলমানদের চরিত্র ছিল না সেটা. And same with the Muslim man. You have shown a very stark, visible Muslim man. এবার গ্রামের খেটে খাওয়া মুসলিম পুরুষের ওই স্কাল ক্যাপ ওরকম ভাবে মানে হয়তো শুক্রবার নামাজ পড়তে যাচ্ছে তখন একটা ব্যাপার. তো is this costume choice deliberate to show the stark difference between the two families or the two religions?
Thank you for that question. Actually, no, it was not a deliberate choice as such. It was, I agree with what you were saying, and it was actually a very organic one, because actually the actor who played the Muslim character, Ali Akram, himself is a Muslim, and when we were sitting for rehearsals, when we were talking about building the character, I was discussing that actually all the costumes it was not me who came up with those costumes. It was collaboration with my actors. I asked them that what they should wear. I had initially something else in mind also, and some of them said that no, this is what it should be like. So the colors, we sat down for many weeks and worked on the look and everything. So it was not deliberate choice, but I felt that it was very organic one. Also, I would like to say that actually we rehearsed also often before the run up to the shoot in our village, and we have a considerable number of Muslim families living there, and usually like what happens that they also get involved in the process, like ki korchish eta ki rokom, and because they have seen me grow up, they were very enthusiastic and excited. So while I was just telling them that this is what it all looks like, and often during shoot also they said that the woman or the man should wear things like this, it's not them. So it was, I would say it was a very collaborative effort that way. It was not me only who were trying to come up with the costumes also, it was the actors and the people around us. And I think because they have their share of lived in experiences, many of the situations, so I took it, the suggestions and incorporated.
That's very interesting, because that also shows the different characters of different areas as well. So yes, that's my questions for you. I will open the floor to the audience. Is there any questions? There is somebody behind you, Devi. Okay.
Well, my name is Sandip Banerjee, and my question is to you that by your film, what message you want to give our people's or audiences, that in the village Hooghly, is there the democracy and government and police political etc. matters are very bad, or so therefore the villagers are taking the legal steps against taking steps against the criminals. What you can explain it?
Thank you again for that question. No, actually, since this was brought up here in this discussion, I just named the village. But this film, I would like to say that it's not based in Hooghly. Actually, there is nowhere it's mentioned where the film unfolds. And that's why, we had a discussion also with my actors, and maybe some of them, at other screenings also, there have been dialogue or feedback that accent ta ki erokom keno, kothakar accent and all that. So we have deliberately avoided any accent as such, because we didn't want it to be set in a certain district or a certain place. I think the main thing that I want the audience, that was that, and the other thing I want the audience to take away is the fact that one woman standing up for the other. That was what the film was about for me. When I was writing it, I was very clear that of course the political influences in the society will seep in the script, but I think for me it was about one woman standing up for the other, as simple as that. And I think it was for me that's what the film is about. So if you ask me to describe, and in the logline also, that's what I have said, that it's not about, of course, there might be people who act differently, but the simple thing is that be it in any form, I just want people to be there for each other. And of course here we see that at the end, of course, they offer extremes out of circumstance. She didn't want, because before even she pulls the trigger, that's what she says to the husband, that I wish I had a family in which I'm happy. So yeah, and it's very unfortunate what happens at the end of the film. So that was that actually. So nothing else. And yeah, so I hope that answers the question.
Mike over there. Yeah.
Hi, thanks Tathagata for this very hard-hitting film. I assume that what happened to Muhammad Akhlaq and Pehlu Khan was playing in your mind. And unfortunately, when we see films like this right now, it's sometimes we have this suspension of disbelief that cinema is supposed to be, but then it almost appears like what is happening in reality. It's not too far from what is happening on the screen. So you said that Delhi riots was going on as you were writing the script. Was the Akhlaq incident and the other things that were happening also playing in your head as you were writing the script?
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing this up. Actually, one incident, of course, those incidents were playing, and that's why also after the confrontation between the antagonist and Ali's character, we see a small clip being played, being watched by the people who gathered for that dinner. That showed one lynching small clip also that we see on YouTube these days, or WhatsApp forwards. So that was actually playing. So of course that incident was there. One incident which happened, which I was reading also while writing the script, that really that really made me sad and angry and helpless, was I heard this thing happened, I think somewhere in North India, correct me if I'm wrong. A Dalit man had passed away, and he was being taken to the crematorium for the final rites, and some Brahmins, the upper caste, were doing something on a bridge, and they were not allowed to cross it, so they dropped the body from the bridge from this side, and it was brought up. So that incident really shocked me and made me really disturbed me to the core. So all those incidents culminated, and of course those incidents were definitely there. And I know, like, whatever is there on online, I watched all of it as a part of the research, and yeah, so definitely, and I hope that I have nothing else to say, and those incidents definitely contributed to the building of the narrative, as a matter of fact. So yeah, it was very conscious.
We have time for one more question. Okay, go ahead. Yes.
Hi, good evening, sir. I'm Shomopio Chatterjee. I have one question that I saw in your film, that you have used very less amount of background music. Okay, and you've mainly focused on more natural environment and ambient sound. And that is actually strong and better relatability to the film. But my question is, like, was this deliberate? Because at the end of the film we could see, while the wife was shooting the man, the Durga Puja's dhak was playing in the background. So we could relate that what Hindu actually means. It's not that we'll hate the Muslims, but we'll support everyone. So was this reference deliberate, that I won't use more and more of background music and rather keep it more natural?
Thank you for asking that question. Definitely, and I think first of all I would like to give credit to the editor Amir Mondal, who edited the film and graded it as well. And I have great sound designers at Oral Workstation, Anindit and Adeep Singh Manki, who did the sound design and mixing. Tonmoy also. They contributed to the film in such a way. So, many of the sounds, the dhak or the bird calls, I'm very particular about sound in every film that I make. And I even write cues, because when I'm writing the script, I take multiple trips to the place where we'll shoot, and I try to observe natural sounds there. As a matter of fact, the dhak, it was not a Durga Puja dhak, it was actually Rokha Kali Puja dhak. So while we were shooting the film, I heard somewhere in the distance that dhak was playing, and while we were shooting that scene. So it stayed with me, and later on when I came to the sound stage and we were doing the design and mixing, I told Anindit that can you please incorporate this part in the track, that I want it to be there. So it was very organic also that way, that the sound choices. And of course I had a very good music composer as well, Aviraj, in the film, but I think I tried to focus on less and less music and more sound, because ultimately it gives a sense of that place. It creates the mood. I try to refrain from using music as much as I can, and and when you have such great crew working, Anindit and team, I'll go with what we came up with, and they did it hopefully amazingly well. So that was very conscious decision, and some of those sounds I heard while I was rehearsing, or while I was shooting, or while I was going there for Reiki. So yeah.
Thank you. So no more questions because we are running short on time, and we have another very wonderful short fiction next time. I hope. Yes, I will do that. But all of your questions, I think Tathagata can answer later when you have a break and chat with you, so you can approach him. But before we move on to the next film, this film's crew and cast and crew is here, and Tathagata will like to introduce them. So why don't you call them up on the stage?
Sure. Thank you so much. I would like to call, many of them are present here. The cast: Bimal, Giri, Ali, Akram. Please, can you come up? The crew: Tuhin, hopefully assistant cinematographer Prabir is here. Editor Amir, Mondal. Please come up on stage. And am I missing anyone? Please. Amir, I called him already. So they are the ones who made I'm really missing Payel and Shimli, who played the two women here. They couldn't be there. So this is Ali. This is Bimal. Tuhin, who shot the film DP. Prabir couldn't make it. And Amir, the editor. So yeah, he's Amir. And missing the sound team as well, Anindit, Adeep, Tommay, and we had really, and all the villagers who contributed equally to the film. They are as much as a part of the crew as we are. So really thank from all of us. And if it's okay.
Sorry?
Can they say a line or?
Yeah, very briefly.
Okay.
One line each, very briefly.
ফার্স্ট অফ অল আমাকে যে প্রশ্নটা আপনি করেছিলেন আর কি কাস্টিউম নিয়ে, ইনফ্যাক্ট ফেসবুকে আমার নিজের মামিও সেই একই কথা বলেছে যে কি কেন তুই এই জিনিসটা করেছিস। তো প্রথমভাবে বলতে চাই যে ছেলেটা, যে মানুষটা 5 ওয়াক্ত নামাজ পড়ে বা সেই ধরনের একজন কোণঠাসা মানুষ যে 5 ওয়াক্ত নামাজ পড়ছে, সেখানে সেই মানুষটা কোথাও না কোথাও তার ধর্ম নিয়েই থাকছে। এবং আপনি যদি সিনটা দেখে থাকেন, সেই সিনটা হচ্ছে যে নামাজটা পড়া, এবং নামাজের পরেই আমাদের ধর্মে আছে যে কবর দিতে যাওয়া। তো সেখানে সেই স্কাল ক্যাপটা পরেই পুরো সিনটা চলছে। সে কখনোই যেহেতু তার ছাগলটা মারা গেছে এবং সে সেখানে কবর দিতে যাবে, তাই সেই স্কাল ক্যাপটা সে কিন্তু নামায়নি এবং সেটা নিয়েই সে কবর দিতে যাচ্ছিল। তো পুরো সিনটাতে অনেকে হয়তো ভাববে যে স্কাল ক্যাপটা পরেই কেন পুরো সারা এটা হয়েছে, কিন্তু ওই সিনটা কিন্তু একটাই যাচ্ছে পুরো সিনটা। যেখানে প্রথম সিনটাতে কিন্তু সে কিন্তু স্কাল ক্যাপ পরে নেই, সে কিন্তু ঘুম থেকে উঠেই ঠিক মানে ছাগলকে খুঁজতে বেরিয়েছিল আর কি। তো সেখানে যেহেতু সিনটা একটাই, তো অনেকের ক্ষেত্রে বুঝতে আসলে অসুবিধা হবে। তো যারা হয়তো দেখবেন সিনেমাটা, হয়তো তাদের ক্ষেত্রে অনেকটা সুবিধা হবে সেটা বলার জন্য। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ।
থ্যাংক ইউ ফর দ্য এক্সপ্লেনেশন।
কিছু বলার নেই। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ People's Film Collective and People's Kolkata People's Film Festival for giving us such honorable platform, and thank you so much who come here, and hope you all connect this film. Thank you so much.
We won't waste any more time. পরের ছবিটা দেখি, ঠিক আছে? Thank you so much.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you all of you once again. Thank you, Utsha, for the wonderful Q&A. Thank you.
Yes.